We're at Surf Expo. Seychelle just completed the 11-city tour with Mistral, and so tell me a little about the race, because it is an epic, historic race, and it just looks amazing.
Yeah, the 11 Cities Tour is really such a unique race. It's 5 days long, it's 220 kilometers, so that's about 130 miles, and it goes through the north of Holland, through the state they call the Friesland. And so some of the really unique qualities to this race were like everyone who's paddling is pretty much staying on these traditional wooden Dutch sailing vessels. They're 100 years old, they sink 30 people, and so every night you're staying on this boat, every morning you're getting up to race, and then the boats leave, they follow you around, they take a different route, they get there at the finish line, the boats are waiting for you, and so you kind of develop such a relationship with the other paddlers and also with the race committee and the organizers and the volunteers. They're all staying on these boats, and we're all kind of, you know, roughing it together. It's cold and it's windy and it's wet, and you're paddling your ass off for 6 hours every day, and you know, everyone just kind of gets this commisery together, and you're helping to pump each other up and wake each other up, warm each other up, and it was beautiful. Even it wasn't cold, and well, it was pretty cold, but it wasn't raining the whole time. Sometimes the sun would come out, and you're paddling through these farmlands in the Friesland. You're seeing horses, and you're seeing, of course, cows and sheep, and then, you know, 100-year-old windmills, and the bridges are historical, and the little cities that you paddle through on these narrow canals. There's 11 cities that you have to stop, and they're checkpoints, so you ring a little bell and you call out your number, and they're not really what we would call cities. They're maybe, you could paddle through them in you know, less than a mile you're through the city, but they're all historically significant to that area of Holland. And if you're curious enough, you know, when you stop, you can check out the city if you're not too tired and learn a little bit about the history of where you are. And
what was your favorite stop?
My favorite stop, I have 2 favorite stops. The first one was the first place we stopped, and I actually can't even remember the name of that town, but it was so beautiful, and the finish line was under this brick bridge, and you know, you had the 2 race buoys actually on the land on either side of the bridge, and you're going under, and it was just the most unique finish line I'd ever been through. And you turn around and there's this old windmill, and then the town was just on either side of this canal that was like, you know, the runway to the finish line and the start line the next morning. And I was just like, how cool is this, you know? And I wasn't too exhausted at that point because it was only the first day. And then my second favorite stop was a city called Dokkum. Was the 4th day. Actually, that day was the hardest day for me because I crashed so hard. I didn't stop paddling, but I really wanted to. I mean, I had tears in my eyes for about the last 10 kilometers. But you get to the city, and they were having this festival, and there was people everywhere, and there was boats out on the water, and there was buoys everywhere, and they're playing games over here, and you're doing this over there, and you have to like find the finish line amidst all of this craziness going on. And then, you know, I finally made it, and of course I was just so happy to be finished with that day. And then to be in the midst of the festivities going on was really cool.
What was the food? It was a lot different food than you were used to, and what did you like and what did you not like?
The food was, you know, a lot of pasta. They had these, everyone after the race, you went in and you got actually a massage, so I'm not talking about food, but this was really cool. Included in the race was a massage. You finished and you put your board away, and then you put your name on the list to get a massage. And it was also an incentive if you were paddling with people at the end to finish before them, because you'd get your massage first. Sometimes that mattered more than your place. You're like, ah! But so after you got your massage, you're hanging out in the tents that they would set up everywhere you stopped. They'd set up tents, and there'd be the cafeteria, and so just lots of pasta. And I'm a vegan, so for me, they did have food for everybody for the most part, and they always had meat stuff, and I wasn't really looking at that. So, you know, it was okay. We went out to eat a few times to get something different, but in the morning they would have like pancakes and toast and lots of fruit. And
how would you suggest people, if they were interested in doing this, is this a lot of preparation, or do you think?
You know what was one of the most incredible things was that there were so many people there that didn't train like crazy for this event. They just wanted to do it. There was a whole group of people doing what was called the tour, and it was just for fun. And they would leave earlier in the morning before all of us, and they would paddle, 8 hours or 9 hours the whole day, but they were just going real slow, just checking things out, stopping and having lunch, and we'd fly by them and they'd cheer us on, and so there was a lot of people there that weren't your standard elite paddler. They were just there to do the tour, and even some of the elite racers weren't people that had trained to do miles and miles and miles. And I was impressed because I did train to do miles and miles and miles, and I thought, wow, you guys are here just doing this for on a whim, and how impressive is that? So.
Well, congratulations! Sounds like an epic journey.
Thanks,
What's your next adventure? Because you've gone on quite a few in the past couple of years. Anything planned?
Well, I'm going to do the Chat Jack in October, and then in December I'm doing the 24-hour world record paddle again. So that's what I'm training for, building more and more miles. So
good luck.
Yeah,
Keep
thanks.
posted. I'll see you at Chat Jack.
Thanks so much.